Hello everybody, Kirbyfan here once again for another Kirby Month video. I hope you've all been enjoying Kirby Month so far. It's been a blast for me, and it's going to keep being a blast until the very end. Today we are going to be doing a very simple video where I am going to be ranking the Dream Friends on my least favorites to favorites. If you've watched my previous two on both the Kirby Final Bosses and the Kirby Copy abilities, I've went from top left to bottom. I haven't went from top left to bottom right. I put a character in each tier to get a good idea of how I would be ranking them, and then from there I went from top left to bottom right. For this one, there's so few. There's not even a full row on Tier Maker, which is where we're making these. So we're just gonna go from bottom to top of how I would actually rank them. I'm not gonna explain the tiers this time, except for one little thing. There's no bottom tier this time. There are no characters in this game that I dislike so much that I would put them in the bottom tier. So instead, I just made a difference between middle and the mid tier and the upper mid tier. Just because there are some mid tier characters that I kind of think better than others. So how I'm going to be ranking them, this is me. We're talking about 90% of this is going to be how they control for gameplay. I do care enough about how their characters are to at least acknowledge that part, and especially for a lot of the more recent characters and the mainstays. I care about their character a lot. But still, this is me we're talking about. I'm a gameplay snob. I know that's not what you would expect from a Kirby fan, but here we are. So it's mostly going to be based on how they are in the gameplay. But I will make note of their character, especially for the characters that I really like. I will make note for them. That's how we're gonna do it. So let's get started. On the very bottom, unfortunately, sorry to all you Triple Deluxe Taranza fans out there, but he's gonna be on the very bottom, or the very low, the bottom of the low. He's just really slow. I'm a fan of Spider, and I'm a fan of the changes that they made for Taranza, and I really love the Sectonia ability that he gets, and I adore that in his reveal trailer. At the end, they have him cry because he tries to catch Sectonia, he doesn't get her, and he cries. If there's one piece of evidence that you need to see whether or not Kumazaki and the Kirby team pay attention to the fans, that's it. The fans have been joking about that pretty much since day one, and just see it acknowledged. It's nice. It's really nice. It made me feel happy. Sorry, Taranza. It made me feel happy seeing Taranza be miserable. But that stuff's fine, but the gameplay is really where he's so slow. There's no way to speed him up. And if I'm going to be playing as a Dream Friend, I would at least like the ability to go a little bit fast. You know, I play as a Dream Friend, but if I can't move around, then there's really no fun to it. But I mean, he's not bad. Like I said, I really like the additions to Spider's moveset that he got, but I would just much rather play Spider myself. Up next, and this one took me a while because Taranza is the only one that I don't think is particularly fun. I think all of the others do a really good job of being unique, and they all have movement options. I know. Especially in the Beam video. The Beam video is kind of where I started this, but I've been going off a lot recently about mobility in Kirby games and how important it is, but it's really important. Being able to move around is one of the most how you move is one of the most unique things about the Kirby games compared to other platformers. And when you're just slowly trudging along, it makes a difference. But no more holding back. Up next in the mid tier, this is probably the only instance where you're gonna see me say that the character was a pretty large reason why I put him where I did. Dark Meta Knight. I still believe this character should not be here. This character has no right being here. This should be Shadow Kirby. It should not be Dark Meta Knight. But we got Dark Meta Knight, and his kit is really fun. Really fun. You can add elements to it, which is always a very pleasant surprise, but I just love how easily you can combo with this character. This is the combo character of Star Allies. Everything just links into everything, and you can keep your combos going forever. Pretty much you decide when his combos are done, basically. And they're so easy to pull off, too. I think you saw in my KSA combo video that I did a Dark Mennonite combo. I'm going to be perfectly honest. That one I did on my first try. I knew with Dark Mennonite I could just get him out of the way super fast. So I just did a really basic combo, and that was it. There's so much more you can do with the character. It's pretty crazy. But it shouldn't be him. If you wanted to make... Give Dark Mennonite's combo abilities to normal Mennonite and give a Shadow Kirby, please. Or give Dark Mennonite's combo ability to Shadow Kirby, please. Shadow Kirby would have made sense. Mirror's not in this game. Come on. Anyway. So there is one mid-tier character left. And then we get to the upper mid. I love these guys. They're great, but they're not. They're just. It's kind of cool. I'll say I think they did a good job morphing 3 characters into one. That niche though is totally destroyed by the Mage Sisters. Although if you look at the Mage Sisters and you're like, I like them, but look, it's a hamster, an owl, and a fish. I love these. That's fine. I'm not gonna take that away from you. And I speedrun the Ultimate Choice a lot, and they are essential to getting the best time in the Ultimate Choice, so I will give them that. But when it actually comes to playing as them, again, I just think they're a little too slow for my liking. Every other Dream Friend on this list, except for the one that we're going to get to next, and we will get to her, don't worry, there's some way to really speed them up, and you just don't have that with Kine and Ku, unfortunately. You also sort of don't have that with Susie, who is the next. I love Susie. I loved her in Planet Robobot. I don't... She's very simple in this game, which is fine. And I do really like that the idea of playing as Susie is kind of like a shoot 'em up. I don't know why Susie was specifically picked for that, but I don't have a problem with it. And then you get in the Robobot armor, and it just destroys everything with its spinny move. But that's really it. I mean, well, really, most of what you're going to be doing with Susie is Bachum Gun, Robobot armor, and floating around on her little helipad thing. Or whatever it is, the propeller. Helipad. The propeller. And that's fine, but again, I'm going to bring this point up again. Does nothing for your mobility, and mobility is especially if this is just a me thing, fine. Because when we're talking objectivity, mobility in a game like Kirby is important. It's very, very important. You can't. There's no denying this. But if we're just talking strictly about personal enjoyment, which is what I'm doing with the Dream Friends, okay, maybe I'm just kind of alone on this. Maybe I'm kind of a nut, but I don't know. Mobility is really important to me, and Susie's pretty slow. She's pretty slow. She has the jet charge, which helps her goes a little bit faster, but she's got to charge that. Not that it takes long, but you still got to charge it in order to make it work. And that's it for Susie. And with that, we're actually done with the upper mid tier. The next tier that we're going to get in is probably the most crowded, and by probably I mean most definitely, because character-wise, I would put a lot of these Dream Friends in top tier. We're playing as them. Nah, there's only a couple. So the high tier is going to be very jam-packed. So let's not waste any time and get started. Next, we have our good friend Daroach. He does not have a mobility problem. He's got a great dash attack. If you're in the air and you can't do the dash attack, he's got the teleport. So he's got that covered. He's got the squeaks to do great damage. He's got a lot of great charge moves. Really, my big problem with Daroach would be... I got nothing. I mean, there's some minor problems. It would be nice if he had a dash attack that came out quick. It would be nice, blah, blah, blah. But no big problems. I think the way he is really good. And the fact that they found a way to sneak Animal into his kit was really nice, because a lot of people were very upset that Animal didn't win the copy ability poll. Mirror, fine, whatever. But when Sleep won... Okay, if you were unhappy that Animal lost, fine. But if you're mad that Sleep won, no, Sleep deserved it. We rallied for Sleep. I rallied for Sleep. I was one of those people, and Sleep won. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Daroach, great. Controls great. Plays great. I love him. Next on the list is probably the character that surprised a lot of the people the most when Dream Friends were announced. That's our good buddy Marx. And these are ranked, so I do actually need to rank them in such a way, position them on the tier maker. But up next is Marx, and this is one of the characters that I'm talking about when I say mobility is super important, because Marx can just go anywhere on the screen whenever you want. If you're in the air, he can do that move where he goes to the ground, hides under there, comes up, goes. He has a grounded dash attack. He's got a dash attack when he's on his ball. And when he moves around on his... I love moving around with Marx on his ball. I think it's really fun. He's just got so many options, and when you give him elements, there's so much he can do with the elements. It's so much fun. It's one of the things that's... I have a friend that really enjoys playing Marx, and when we play Star Allies, pretty much all he does is that he gets an element, he goes to the top of the screen, and he just starts dropping, just starts nuking on the ground. It doesn't matter what element he's got, but he does it and it works, Me personally, I don't play as Marx all that much just because there are other options and I kind of like a little more. But I like Marx a lot. He's very, very close to Daroach. What really puts Marx above the edge for me is just that I think he's a lot more fun in the air. I think Daroach is maybe a tiny more fun on the ground, but Marx also gets the beach ball. So Marx on the ground, standalone, but then he's got the beach ball, and Marx is fun. Marx is a lot of fun. Up next is the Dream Friend, which, well, I say Dream Friend singular, but plural. The Dream Friends that did not care about balancing these three. Would be the Mage sisters. Okay, so if Zan was a standalone Dream Friend, she'd be close to the top. But as is, I think it's really cool that they put her with the other two. My problem is it's not with Flamberge. Flamberge, I think, is fine. I think she's a lot of fun to play around with on the ground. And her sword swings are really good. My problem's with Francisca, and you know what's coming. She's slow. She has no fast way to boost her mobility. Flamberge isn't fast, but she has much easier ways, at least I feel like when I'm playing her, much easier ways to boost her mobility than Francisca does. But really, I mean, if mobility is what you want, you're not going to be playing either of them. You're going to be playing Zan, because Zan is the fastest character in the game with the air dodge that traverses rooms. Zan is so fast that she's so broken. I'm glad we have a character in a Kirby game again that's actually kind of difficult to control. It's been a while since we've had something like that. But the payoff, once you master Zan, the payoff is crazy good. She's so much fun to speedrun with. She's actually better than Mennonite at speedrunning now, believe it or not. Well, with Mennonite, we'll get to that when we get to that. But Zan really is the best to play around with. I just feel like because of the way that they are, I do need to be judging all three of them. I can't just say, oh, well, I want mobility, I'll play as Zan. Maybe I do want to play as Francisca. Maybe I do want to play as Flamberge, and I could, or I could just pick Zan. There is, like I said, there's a little bit going on with the characters here, and that's mostly what holds it back. And even just gameplay, you could look at it one of two ways. I want to play as one of the other two because, I've had my fun with Zan. I'm going to get a much lesser experience this way. This is all such... If I really had a problem with this, then she would be lower on the list, clearly. I have her above Daroach and Marx, so clearly I don't have that big of an issue with it, but something to keep in mind. Next up is probably a Dream Friend who I only really have this high because of speedrunning. God, go on. Mennonite. Sizzle Shuttle Loop. Watch a Kirby Star Allies... No. Actually, watch a Kirby Star Allies speedrun of the story mode, starting from 0. So you don't get Zan. Because you don't get Zan until you pretty much clear everything in the game. So start a new save file and look at a Kirby Star Allies speedrun that, one, is actually a real speed run, not, one of someone saying, "Oh, what if I don't do that?" A challenge speed run, or someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Ignore those, and just look at, the optimal best speed runs of Star Allies' story mode. Mennonite's in all of them. You can't properly speedrun Star Allies going for a world record time without Sizzle Shuttle Loop. It is so ridiculously good. And it's pretty much the only move that he needs. He's got some other fun stuff, but there are some things about his kit that I'm not crazy about. His upward slash, for example, I much prefer the Skyward Strike or whatever it's called in Swords kit. I think for the most part, it's the wing part of Mennonite that I really like. The sword part, I would actually prefer to have Kirby over Mennonite, believe it or not, and I'm not really even all that crazy about sword myself. So sword, as you saw in the copy ability video, is not one that I'm all that crazy about. Wing I like a lot, but Mennonite's wing is different from Kirby's wing, and I like Kirby's wing more. So really, if it weren't for Sizzle Shuttle Loop, I'd put him kind of low, actually. Probably put him right above Taranza, if you want me to be perfectly honest. Well, maybe not that low. He's got good mobility, so maybe above Dark Mennonite. But here we are. He's got Sizzle Shuttle Loop, and it's one of the most fun things to play around with in the entire game. So, high tier. So, this is where it gets really, really difficult. This is still the high tier, but there are two characters left in this tier, and picking between them, not easy, but I think ultimately either way, this is gonna break my heart, but I'm sorry, my friend, I'm picking Gooey. Ooh, I wish Gooey could be higher, because I love Gooey, but like I said, this is not about the actual okay. So if this was about the character, Gooey would definitely be higher than he is. This tier list would also be a lot different, but Gooey would be way, way higher than this. Well, I say way, way higher, but he'd probably only be number 4. Anyway. I think Gooey is a lot of fun. I know apparently, I heard this recently, and I had to do a double take. People don't like Gooey? I did not know this. I'm not going to say everybody loves Gooey, but at least as of Star Allies, when you look at him, I just kind of figured, people embraced Gooey because he's got such a charming, silly, stupid look to him. And I love Gooey. You don't like Gooey. You don't like Gooey? Talk to me out. Let's go outside. Let's not go outside. If we're talking about the gameplay, he's got good ways to boost his mobility. Great reference to Dreamland 3, actually, where if you use burning too much or fireball or whatever, it starts going shorter. But he's got that to boost his mobility. If he's in the air, he's got stone to get to the ground. Parasol does slow his descent, actually, while protecting him from above. So he's got good protection. His tongue being whip is hilarious. I'm never going to get over that. That's one of the funniest things that Hal has ever done. And he just has a very simple kit that comes together really well, and it works. It represents Dreamland 3 great. It's the spirit of Gooey still. Oh, what more is there to say? And now we end the high tier. There is one character left. It is going to be Adeleine and Ribbon. Adeleine and Ribbon. I love these two. They're adorable. They're perfect. So this is great. It's great because I could say, oh, well, they're cute and adorable, but that doesn't really reflect in their gameplay. But it does, because their idle animations and their guard and their aerial uppy, I think it is. It's so cute. All of them. They're precious. Don't disrespect my daughters. Just fight me outside. Yeah, we're just at the point where it's pretty much just going to be, I love them. Fight me outside if you disagree. I kid. All right, making this point perfectly clear. I hate to kill the joke, but if you disagree with any of my opinions, that's perfectly fine. I just like to mess around a lot. I kid about this stuff. If you know me, you know me. But if you don't, actually, if you're new to the channel or whatever, and you're hearing this random person say, oh, you don't like this blob, take it outside, it's a joke. But Adeleine and Ribbon. When I first played them, I remember thinking, gee, I wish they had better mobility options. And then I played around with them more, and more specifically, their down B, where Adeleine paints a boss from Dreamland 3, or Wayu from Dreamland 2, who was not a boss in Dreamland 3. I don't know why they went with Wayu when they could have went with the fish. What was the fish called? Or Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright. There you go. So I don't know why they went with Wayu, but fine. Sweet stuff. That's the fish. Okay. Moving on. And they really just get such better options. They move much faster, and I like that. But not only do they have that, but they have a lot of interesting stuff in their moveset. They have the up B, which is adorable. They have Al Fresco, which is healing, which is really nice. Adeleine's dash attack. I wish if Adeleine did her dash attack over Fuji tripped. I wish they went that extra mile, but they didn't. It's fine. They did such a good job with her otherwise. I really can't complain. I really think she's a lot of fun to play around with. I know she's really good for speedrunning Ultimate Choice, but I don't... If anyone wants to tell me what this is, please let me know in the comments, because I have no idea what the heck people do when they speedrun with Adeleine. I think they're mashing guard with her, but I've tried it myself. I don't think it works. It might be mashing her down B. It might be timing it, alternating between guard and down B. I don't know. But she's really good, and that's the point I'm trying to make. She's really good for speedrunning Ultimate Choice, which is hilarious. Out of all the characters that's really good speedrun Ultimate Choice with, it's Adeleine. And going back to Gooey very briefly, speaking of the Ultimate Choice, something that I really like to do with both Gooey and Adeleine is kind of do a shoot 'em up only kind of thing. With Gooey, I float and use his dark matter laser beam thing, which is another incredible touch, by the way. And with Adeleine and Ribbon, I use the Crystal Shard gun, because they gave the 10-year-old kid a gun. Paching. And it's a lot of fun playing Ultimate Choice that way. You don't speedrun it that way, but it's fun. So I figured I'd bring that up. So that's it for the high tier. The only characters we have left are the ones that I would put in the top tier. As it turns out, that very conveniently works out this way. These are my 3 favorite characters left on this list. Kirby is my favorite Kirby character, but between Bandana D, Magolor, and Dedede, they are my favorite Kirby characters. How I would rank them on the list is not how I would rank them as if they were characters, though, because my favorite character after Kirby is Dedede, and he is who I would put at the bottom of top tier. I love his slide attack, the one where, you have him run and then you hit down P and he just lunges forward and he slides. That's the only move that I need to use with this character. I love that move. It has gotten me so far. I have some really cool footage of that move saving me. That move has saved me plenty of times, especially in the co-op. But otherwise, he still got Hammer, which, as we blatantly saw, is one of my favorite copy abilities. Love you speedrunning. He's great for speedrunning. He's not the best. It is Rick Kine and Ku and Poppy Brothers Jr. Those are the best for speedrunning Ultimate Choice, but Hammer's still broken for bosses. That's never going to change. He makes good use of all the elements. The Super Dedede jump recently got added. It got added in the final update, which is something I really think he needed. It helps him get vertical momentum. It helps him get momentum while going up. It's not vertical, it's horizontal momentum, but he goes up during it, which I think is really nice. He has a very fast option to go up, which is good for mobility. He's big, so his hammer swing. This is one of the very few instances where I actually think being big is good, because that means the hitbox of his hammer is huge. It goes much farther than Hammer Kirby's does, and it actually makes it so that Dedede is better at doing the Ultimate Choice than Kirby is. And I believe Bonkers also. I think he's bigger than Bonkers too, so he's better than both of them. It's really fun to play around with, and also very fun to speedrun with in the Ultimate Choice. Great character, a lot of fun. And I know this doesn't count because we're only looking at him as a dream friend, but Star Allies is the game with Buff Dedede, and I love that. It's so funny. So, now we are at the top 2, and this was very difficult, mostly because one of these characters gets the elements and one doesn't. As difficult of a decision as this is, my number 2 is Bandana D. Spear not being in this game, it would make me upset, but it helps Bandana D stand out and be more unique, and that matters to me a lot more than having Spear. I love Bandana D. He's one of my favorites. So Bandana D I used to have kind of an issue with because pre-final patch, I would probably put him around where I put Susie, just because I love Spear so much, but he really does not benefit from any sort of mobility. And then they gave him a running down B where he lunges forward really far. And that changed everything. That one move really just made Bandana D so much more fun to play around with. If you want to know what I think about Spear, please watch my copyability video. I gush about Spear a lot in that video. I specifically bring up the Waddle copter, which I love. But with that added move, with that added running down B, super fun to play around with. It really changed everything. Mobility is important. It's very important in Kirby. I mean, platformers in general, mobility is always something you got to keep an eye out for. But in Kirby, it's important just because typically all abilities are strong enough to deal with enemies and bosses. Should I go into this ramble now? I'm not going to go into this ramble now. Mobility is very important. And with that, we only have one Dream Friend left, and by process of elimination, we know it is Magolor. Who knows if he cheated his way to the top or not, but here he is. Everything in his moveset is a nod in one way or another to Return to Dreamland. I gotta give brownie points for that. But what I love is that he plays well. He has a broken dash attack, which helps so much with mobility. He has so many powerful attacks that just tear through bosses. He's really easy to play around with and just get great results. You can pretty much play him however you want, and he'll work. He's not as broken as the Mage Sisters just in terms of efficiency, but if we're just looking at him in terms of play him however you want, I really just think he's the funnest. He's got the most amount of options for everything, and some of his attacks are huge. He's got the charge down B, he's got the lore, he's got the ultra sword, he's got the black hole, the little pume lasers, charge him up against the big fireball. He's got the gem apples, and they make him laugh, and if Magolor's happy, I am happy. So long as no one gets hurt, or he... Don't give him the Master Crown. Don't misinterpret what I said! But I love Magolor. I love him as a character, which helps, and I love him as a Dream Friend. I think they stellar job with him. Better than any of the other Dream Friends in the game. So, there we go. This is my tier list for the Star Allies Dream Friends. If you want to see a video similar to this, only listening to actually somebody properly talk about them non-improvised, if you like my editing style and you think I'm funny and informative, if that's what you like about my channel, go to Wombu's channel and look up Kirby Star Allies Dream Friends Ranked. It's not the same list as mine. There are a lot of differences, but he explains himself well in a very well-informed and funny way with some great editing. So if you think I'm funny, you're going to love that video. So just go watch that video, watch Wombu's video about the Dream Friends Ranked, and you'll be good. You'll have plenty of Kirby Star Allies to go around. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I have been Kirbyfan. Please keep enjoying Kirby Month. I'm going to keep enjoying it as long as I can. Thanks so much for watching again, and take care.